independent in thought, and punk rock in life. It's The Chad Benson Show.
Hey, how are you? Welcome to The Chad Benson Show. This is not Chad Benson. I'm actually a guy by the name of Barsky, and this is Barsky Radio, and we're sitting in for Chad today. I'm joined by my compadres, Ron Hersey, and our producer, Garrett, and I hope everybody's doing well, had a great weekend. Boy, oh boy, after last week, I just needed to chill after all the, especially Friday with the shutdown ending and then the Roger Stone bust and just all this stuff. I don't know about you guys, man. I need to just relax.
Yeah, I don't think I did a single thing all week.
And I certainly didn't watch the news.
No.
It was nice.
Yeah. It was just like so much. It was just overload. But let's just dive right into what happened on Friday night. So Friday night, our president signed a congressional resolution that ended the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The bill temporarily opens the government for 3 weeks without giving the Trumpster his funding for the border wall across the southern U.S. border. And, boy, did he get smacked around, too. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. And Coulter, of all people, jumping off the Trump train. That is not good for him. Anyway, but the measure was signed. So now we've got a government open till February 15th. And then after that, who the hell knows what's going to happen? All I saw today was Trump said he thinks another shutdown is a possibility. Now, I don't know if this is just him posturing. It just sounds to me like he's posturing a little bit. But when I really think about it, what are the chances of them actually coming up with a deal? And you're just kicking the can down the road for a few weeks, right?
I think so,
yeah. So, I mean, they could do this again. They could shut it down again. But I think what's going to probably happen in this situation is I think he's got a plan. I think the plan is if they don't get some sort of a deal together, that he's going to do the national state of emergency. And because he's not going to accept less than the 5.7, he said. So, any idea of how much this shutdown cost the government?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay, the Congressional Budget Office found that the economy took an $11 billion hit. Oh, wow. Including $3 billion that's gone forever. They'll never see that again in the 35 days of the federal government shutdown.
Twice as much as a wall.
Yeah. That's exactly the hit that they took. So that's not great to see, but you know the bottom line is that he lost. So you think that maybe we had an exhausting weekend just from everything that we had to deal with on Friday? Imagine what he had to deal with. Imagine. I mean, he's probably just bragging to everybody around there that he's going to get the deal done and walking around, and then he had a whole weekend to think about the fact that he just got beat.
He can't go on his favorite website, Twitter, because that's all that people were doing on there was just trashing him.
Yeah, but he was on there, of course. He was on there. He was tweeting. I think he tweeted something today about Ann Coulter, which I'll get to before the hour is through. But you know, he was all set with he thought he was going to get this done, and I have to think that really the idea was let's just give it to the last moment, see if we can get something happening. I mean, look, he waited as long as he could, but here's the thing. Trump in the private sector, I mean, that's all he really knew before this. And when you negotiate in the private sector, I think the lesson that he's learning when Chuck Schumer gave him the dressing down that he did, I hope he learned his lesson with those glasses on his nose like a...
Yes, Principal Schumer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Trump got dragged in by the teacher in the principal's office. I hope you learned your lesson. Which, by the way, I'm sure is sitting in the back of Trump's head right now.
Just on loop.
On loop. Exactly. There's one guy that's not going to forget anything. He's not going to forget or forgive. He's a guy who holds a grudge for a long time. So I think he was thinking that he would give it the best shot. And then his spin is, hey, listen, man, I tried working with these Democrats.
Right.
I couldn't get him to do it, and I'm not going to fold, but I had to fold for the American people. I felt bad for those 800,000 workers. And, what really did it was the fact that the airports, LaGuardia was closed.
Yeah.
And all the flights were backed up. Could you imagine, once that starts in New York and in Philly, could you imagine spreading across the country? What kind of a freaking nightmare that would have been?
Well, delays were spreading. I know we had delays, over in Florida as well. It wasn't just in New York.
Yeah.
The only airport that shut down, thankfully, was LaGuardia. But
Yeah, but here's the thing. But that would just been the beginning. Had they gone, a couple more days, other airlines, airports would have shut down as well. And then you're asking for a major problem. God forbid something happens in the air. With air traffic controllers not showing up and not coming to work. That's not something he wanted on his watch.
Well, that's not a job you want the B team in on.
No.
You
don't want to be the scabs in on that one. You don't want to be the guy who just took the 48-hour course on how to be an air traffic controller. No. So I think that was the one that, I spoke to my brother over the weekend, and my brother is the chief of staff for the Port Authority in New York. They control all the airlines, all the bridges, all the tunnels. And he said, hey, listen, we were the ones that were really, I think, somewhat responsible for lifting that shutdown because we didn't want to take any chances with LaGuardia. So I said, yeah. I said it would have been a freaking nightmare. So I think that he gave it his best shot, and now it's kind of like, all right, let's see what we can do in the next few weeks. I think he's just going to go through the motions. He'll do the State of the Union. Has that thing been rescheduled officially or no?
Well, Pelosi just invited him to do it on the 5th of February.
Right.
I believe is the official invitation. So I would assume he's going to accept that and go and do it at that time. But.
Right. That's going to be weird. It's going to be very awkward. You're going to get these people, especially when Pelosi and Schumer have to stand up and clap. The fake clapping like they really approve of what he's doing. It's you've never seen so much adversity between and so much dysfunction between two parties like you're seeing now, and then they got to pretend like they're buddies, they're pals in this State of the Union. It's gonna be very, very strange. So, all right, so he was working on the border wall slogan. That's what he was doing. And let me go to Fake Trump on the fake phone. Yes, Fake Trump, you want to jump in here?
Well, look, I had a couple ideas. This was the slogan. This is what we were going to go with. Build a wall, crime will fall. I think that's pretty good, but I had a couple other ideas, and they didn't necessarily like them too much. I'll run a couple of these by you, see what you think. The wall is 100 feet high. If you fall off, you will die.
Come to the point.
How about this one? A border wall or a fence, there's nobody more boring than Mike Pence. I kind of like that one, but they nixed that one. How about this one? A wall will protect us from illegal, evil nuts. My wife, Melanie, hates my guts.
That'd be Melania, right?
Melania, whatever. You're splitting hairs here. How about this one? Hickory dickory dock. This chick was...
All right, that's enough. Thank you, Fake Trump. We'll jump in later. Fake Trump doing a little Andrew Dice Clay. Should we play the Fake Trump song about the wall?
Yeah.
Want to give it a little spin? All right, here's a little song that Fake Trump decided to do after all of this nonsense last week. Enjoy. We don't need illegal immigration. We just need some border control. Gotta keep the killers, the drug pushers, and the rapists out. You know what I'm saying? It's time to build a great big fortress. I mean, huge. Like, really, really huge. But who will pay is the great unknown. I mean, seriously, really, is this such a big deal? Come on, there are a lot of billionaires out. Help me out. Hey, Jeff Bezos, how about a freaking loan? All in all, I just need someone to pay for the wall. I mean, you know, you're going to have a lot of money even after the divorce. Help me out here. All in all, I just need someone to pay for the wall. I made a promise to the American people. I told them Mexico would pay eventually, but those cheap bastards wouldn't even take my calls. Got bitch slapped by Pelosi and Schumer, and that wasn't fun, believe me. And now Ann Coulter is pissed off at me. Maybe she was in a bad mood because she probably hadn't eaten in 2 or 3 weeks. Way too skinny, that I can tell you. Hey, Congress, throw me a freaking bone. All in all, I just need someone to pay for the wall. It'll make America safe again, that I can tell you. All in all, I just need someone to pay for this freaking wall so I can get a good night's sleep. Thank you. Good night. Oh, fake Trump. Wow. Big hit. Wow. We're going to have to give that another twin spin. So nice, you got to hear it twice. All right, there you go. The little fake Trump wall song. By the way, we got to get into the Roger Stone story. I saw this documentary on this cat on Netflix over the weekend. I think it's called Go Get Roger Stone or Get Me Roger Stone. Man, oh man, this dude is way out there. So we'll talk about him, and we got a whole bunch of stuff for you. Stay right here. This is Barsky Radio on the Chad Benson Show. Don't move.
Set Chad straight. Text the show, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Someone has to do it. Might as well be you. The Chad Benson Show.
And it's Barsky Radio. I'm Barsky along with Ron Hersey. Our producer is Garrett, sitting in for Chad. Hope you're doing well. So when we started the show, I talked about how I had to just chill out over the weekend because Friday was nuts. Between the government shutdown ending and then Roger Stone getting busted at his home in Fort Lauderdale, it was just like a heavy, heavy news day, and there's just a lot of stuff happening there, but it was just so much craziness. So this Roger Stone, are you guys really familiar with him? I know you know him, but I don't know if you really, really know him. I watched this Netflix documentary about him. It's called Get Me Roger Stone. I wasn't aware that, this guy has been involved in dirty politics since he was like 7 years old.
Really?
I think it was like 7 or he's 9 years old. The story goes like this, that he was in elementary school, and it was Nixon running against Kennedy, and he was for Kennedy because Kennedy had better hair.
They had one of those school elections.
Yeah, it was like a mock election.
Right.
So he, at age 9 or 7 or whatever he was, he walked around to all the kids and told the kids that Nixon wanted to have school on Saturday, which is brilliant. You know what I mean?
It's amazing.
It's for a kid to think like that, right? And so Kennedy won in a landslide, and I guess at that point he realized, hey, I want to be involved in politics. I guess he ran for like student council or whatever it was when he got a little older, but he was the youngest guy at age 19 to be involved in the Watergate with the Nixon administration. So he was actually testifying at the Watergate hearings at 19.
And to show you that he has no allegiance, Nixon, who he went after when he was in elementary school, he wound up working for.
Not only
helping to reelect.
Yeah, not only that, but he's got a tattoo of Nixon's face on his back, which is the oddest thing I've ever seen, which is actually going to be the first thing his cellmate sees, I think, when he's...
Why do you put it on your back?
Well,
it's weird because it's not like you think of back. You think it's like in the middle of his back. It's like at the base of his neck.
Yeah. It's very, very, very odd.
Prime location.
Yeah, it really is. It's strange. And he's got a thing he says to women. He goes, "You ever meet somebody with a D in the front and D in the back?" Oh, he says the full word. But it's a pretty good. It's a pretty good pickup line. But anyway, so this guy really has been at it since he was a kid, and he was in it in the Reagan administration, and let's see, he got Reagan, helped get Reagan elected. He was with both Bushes, George Sr. and George Jr. Let's see, he worked on, he also worked on Al Sharpton's, which is weird because he's always been, Republican, but he worked with Al Sharpton in 2004 when Al Sharpton was trying to run for president too.
I don't think he has any allegiance to anybody but himself.
No. And then they call him the Dark Prince of dirty politics. And he really embraces that. So watching this documentary, I really got a chance to see how how smart he is, but also how just dark and weird he is. Yeah. And he doesn't care. The main thing with him that I picked up, he couldn't care less what anybody thinks about him. He's like better to be known for something than never to be known at all. You know,
One of those infamy and fame are the same thing kind of guys?
Yeah. So, he was claiming that he's been treated worse than Osama bin Laden when they raided his home. I don't think so. I think if I'm not mistaken, Osama bin Laden's dead, and
he got shot.
Yeah, he got shot, and they dumped him at sea. I don't think that's happened to this guy yet. What is he talking about? But
he just got rousted out of bed in his PJs.
Yeah, he's lucky. He expected a phone call to come from his lawyer, say, hey, listen, they're coming by in a half hour.
Right.
You better get ready. And they went in for a particular reason, like he was loaded for bear. But the thing with this guy is I wouldn't trust him. He's a flight risk, right? Mm-hmm. So what are you going to give him a heads up? If anybody I wouldn't give a heads up to in this particular white-collar crime or whatever, it would be this guy. Because this guy probably has like a helipad somewhere in his backyard. It's not like he doesn't have any money. He's got some money. But anyway, he claims that they mistreated him, and look, it could have been a lot worse for him. But from what I'm reading about this dude, I mean, they're lucky they didn't drag him out of there in a leather hood with a gag ball in his mouth.
Well, he might have enjoyed that one.
You know what I'm saying?
Had they been an hour earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, they went at like 6 a.m., right? I think the party was over at 4.
Right.
All right. Yeah, this guy is known to not only be one of the legendary lobbyists, but also known for his personal life, which includes the life of a swinger. In 1996, he and his wife, Nadia, got busted for being swingers. He was one of those dudes that put he put the ad in the back of the swingers mag with the black bar across his eyes, like nobody would know it's him. And that's when I think a lot of the politicians are watching this. Maybe we'll take a break with Roger Stone and his wife. I'll have more on him later on. Hang out. We have a lot coming up. Stay right where you are. This is Barsky Radio on the Chad Benson Show. Stay here.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Chad has the day off. This is Barsky Radio. I'm Barsky, along with Ron Hersey. Our producer is Garrett, and you, welcome to it. Hope everything is going well. Looks like the Robert Mueller investigation will be completed fairly soon. They're going to be, I guess they're going to be looking over the last few pages of that, and then they'll release it at some point. I'm hearing sometime mid-February. Could be a little later than February. We were just talking about Roger Stone before the break, and Roger Stone, who is, he's one of these guys that I think if anybody would go to jail willingly, because none of these guys want to go to jail, they're going to flip on Trump. Look at Michael Cohen. He flipped and he was very close to Trump, right? So, here's the deal with Roger Stone. Roger Stone had an off and on relationship with Trump. Trump fired him from his campaign at one point. He said he quit, but he fired him. So Roger Stone, right after the bust, said he would never bear false witness when it came to Trump. He wouldn't lie for him. But I guess after thinking about it a little bit, he said he might consider cooperating with Mueller. I mean, this is one guy he knows how to play people, And I think what he's doing, he's just kind of throwing it out there because I think he wants to hear from the Trump camp,
right? From
somebody that, a pardon could be coming his way if he does the right thing. But then again, I think he's one of those guys, I think he just wants to go to jail. I think he just wants to add it to his colorful resume
his
of things,
bucket list.
His bucket list of life experiences, because he's done everything else. When I was watching this documentary on him, they did the whole thing on the swinger and the swinger lifestyle and the ads that he put in. Just weird. Like, how can a guy be that connected? He's a lobbyist. He was in a company from the very beginning with Paul Manafort. I think it was Black, Manafort, and Stone. He was considered to be like the insider of all insiders. How do you put like an ad in the back of a swinger? You know what I mean?
And think no one's going to see it.
Yeah, right. Like, the black out my eyes. No one will know. Of course they're going to know. He shouldn't have put the front view and the back view. The back view of the Nixon tattoo was the dead giveaway. It was a dumb move. But he's saying that he would consider possibly cooperating with Robert Mueller. So we'll see what happens with that. It's going to be a very, very interesting next few months. All right, so as far as TV stories go and TV personalities, you ever watch this Joe and Mika show on MSNBC? Ever see these two?
I've seen it.
Okay, so the deal was they were married to other people, right? And then I guess they were attracted to each other. They were, I guess, got into a relationship. Maybe I don't know if they were getting it on while they were married to other people. I don't know what the story was, but long story short, they're married now, right? So they're doing their show. They've got this MSNBC show in the morning. It's Morning Joe, it's called. And so they're doing the show, but it's one of those split screen shots where they're not in New York, where they normally do it from. So they've got Joe with a backdrop like he's in Washington, and they got Mika on another backdrop like she's elsewhere. Like you can't tell which one is in New York. But here's the thing. They're both in Jupiter, at their home in Jupiter. And they're both
in separate rooms.
No, they're both sitting right next to each other.
Oh, wow.
They're just sitting in front of like facades.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a riot.
But I don't get why they don't just put them on like a regular set together so they could talk to each other. What are they trying to do? What's MSNBC trying to do? They're trying to sound like we're in two different locations to bring you the
covering the globe.
Yeah, what is that?
Right.
If you've got like a backdrop, like of a cityscape or whatever, I mean, go with that and have them sit together. But I guess because I don't know, it's the weirdest thing. And
is that how the show is like all the time? Is it always like that?
No, they're usually in a studio together.
I was going to say, because it sounds to me like the two of them woke up one day and said, hey, let's not go to work.
No.
We've got a backdrop in the house. We can just use that and phone it in.
Yeah, no, they were like, hey, let's not go to work in New York where it's 10 degrees below zero.
And it'll take us 17 hours to fly there.
Yeah. They just do it from their Jupiter home. But just the scam that they're trying to pull on the audience.
Right.
Is funny, and they don't look at each other when they're talking. They look right at the camera. So she'll be saying something. He'll be like, that's right, Mika. He'll look right at the camera. He could just you can hear her. I mean, they're right there. Oh. It's so obvious. It's so funny. But I don't know how the ratings are on that show. So, all right, so speaking of news shows, this is, it's not good when Trump, what's his favorite network? Fox, right?
Fox.
Oh, yeah.
He's turning on Fox now. When Trump turns on his favorite network, he's starting to freak out a little bit.
Well, he's kind of taking it on the chin from a few of them too.
Yeah.
So
well,
that's
that's
punching back.
Yeah, which is weird. He has nowhere to turn to. I mean, yes, fake Trump.
I swear I had a nightmare last night. I was on the set at CNN with Blitzer had his arm around me. That's how bad it's gotten.
Yeah, I mean, what else is what's next? Anyway, he's lashing out at Fox. He lashed out at him yesterday on Twitter, accusing two Fox News journalists of having less understanding of his proposed border wall than the fake news at his usual media target, CNN and NBC. He specifically lashed out at White House correspondent John Roberts and Washington correspondent Jillian Turner. And Roberts subbed for Fox News anchor Chris Wallace on Fox News Sunday. Turner was a part of the discussion of the show, and his initial tweet misspelled Turner's name. Does he know how to do spell check? Is there a spell check? How many times is he misspelling things? It just does not make him look good. Anyway, he misspelled it. He tagged the wrong person, then he deleted it. Are you sure he's not a drinker? He claims he never had a drink. This sounds like somebody who's been drinking since like 5 in the morning.
He's drunk texting?
What is this?
Maybe he's Adderall texting.
Maybe.
I kid.
No, you're not kidding.
No, I'm not.
Of course you're not. There's something going on there. I don't know what it is, but it could be that. Anyways, he deleted all these tweets, then fired off a new tweet with the correct tag. Listen, seriously, when you're tweeting, all it takes is for you to tweet something, then read it.
Right. Take a minute.
Just take a second. Don't get so crazy. It's not like you're on the clock. And then read it and go, oh, wait a second. That's what I do.
On the clock, why doesn't he just hire some millennial, somebody of my generation who's a little bit more tech savvy and let them just do a proofread?
Yeah, get your kid to do it. What's Barron doing? Right? It's perfect.
You could pay him minimum wage. They get to chill in the White House all day.
Make him an advisor. He can pick up some extra money.
Yeah.
They can officially be the social media advisor to the president.
Right.
There you go.
Right. Give him something to do. It's better than cutting lawns.
I got a pitch for you, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Call me.
Cutting lawns.
Yeah, I mean, remember you had that kid cut the White House lawn?
Right.
And he was angry because Barron wouldn't do it because Barron had like $200 shoes or something. Yeah, I mean, it's have Barron do it. At least just come off looking like you're on top of it. All right, so speaking of TV people, guess who's in trouble? Tom Brokaw. They still put him on Meet the Press. We've talked about it from time to time. Sometimes we do this with musical artists when you have to know when it's time to leave the stage, right? You have to know. Tom Brokaw should have left the stage like 5 years ago. I don't know what it is, but apparently he was on Meet the Press with Chuck Todd, and he was talking about Hispanics. And he said that, I'm just going to read here. He said that Americans don't want brown grandbabies.
Oh, jeez. Really?
And he himself believed that Hispanics should work harder in assimilation. He said this on Meet the Press.
I was like, what did he just say?
I know. I know.
And they all looked at him like,
what?
Okay, Tom, thanks. We'll be right back.
Yeah. And they try to cut him off, too. Yeah. I mean, it gets to a point when you get older. I don't know if he hit. Is he 80 yet? I don't think so. I think he's like 78.
I hope
But when
so.
you get like 80, maybe just like nothing matters anymore. You just say whatever comes out of your mouth. There's no filter. And the thing with him, though, that what he's got going for him, if he says things that are offensive, half the time you can't understand them. So you don't know what he said.
Tom Brokaw, age, what do you think?
78.
78?
Yeah.
79.
79. One of you hit it dead on. Barsky, 78.
I'm pretty good with the ages. All right. So he says a lot of this we don't want to talk about. The fact is the Republican side, a lot of people see the rise of an extraordinary, important new constituency in American politics, Hispanics, who will come here and be Democrats. Also, I hear when a push is a little harder and, quote, I don't know whether I want brown grandbabies from others. He's referring to intermarriage, conflicting cultures, and saying that Hispanics needed to do more to meld into American culture.
I get what he's trying to say, but that's not how it came out.
Came out bad.
Yeah, it did.
I'm Tom Brokaw. I'm Meet the Press. And I don't believe Americans want brown grandbabies. I think the Hispanics need to assimilate. That's a tough one. Assimilate into society better. In fact, to help the Hispanics assimilate, I'm releasing an audio program to help them speak and enunciate.
What?
Enunciate.
Oh, okay.
Better English. It's Tom Brokaw's How to Speak Proper English. Lesson number 1, repeat. Repeat. Do you know the way to the check cashing place? Repeat. Do you know the way to the check cashing place? Store. Check cashing store. Lesson number 2. I'd like to order the rice and beans meal, please. Repeat. I'd like to order the rice and beans meal, please. Lesson number 3. I'm here to work on your roof today.
Oh, come on.
Do you have a ladder? I left mine home. Repeat. I'm here to work on your roof today. Do you have a ladder? I left mine at home. Repeat these every day, and you too can assimilate and be someone who speaks proper English, like yours truly, Tom Brokaw. Yeah, I think we're not going to see Brokaw for a while on Meet the Press. What do you think?
I think he's going to be put out to pasture.
Yeah, I think so. I think the expiration date is up on him a long time ago. All right, what happened with Ann Coulter? Ann Coulter was on Bill Maher on Friday night, and she is not happy with the president. We'll get to that and much, much more. Stay right here. This is Barsky Radio for Chad Benson right here. Don't move.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
Hey, man, it's Barsky Radio for Chad Benson. I'm Barsky, along with Ron Hersey, and our producer is Garrett, hanging out with you. Hope you're doing well. So the Trumpster did not have a good week last week. It was a horrible week. He was dressed down by Chuck Schumer with his glasses on his nose. He was smacked around by 78-year-old Nancy Pelosi. And then his biggest cheerleader, Ann Coulter, turned on him because she said he caved in with the wall. So here, her tweet was this: good news for George Herbert Walker Bush. As of today, he is no longer the biggest wimp ever to serve as president of the United States.
Ouch.
Yeah. I mean, from her, she wrote like a book about Trump. In Trump, we trust. I mean, of all people. But I gotta respect her. I gotta give her credit because unlike the majority of these hacky TV people, these hacky radio people who refuse to see things objectively, she really believes in this whole illegal immigration situation, believes in the wall, and she says, look, this guy ran on this promise for 18 months, and he caved. You know, if she had a way, the place would still be closed. I mean, she doesn't care. So just the fact that she said that, and then she goes and appears on Bill Maher's show, which is like, should be called Liberal Land.
Talk about fraternizing with the enemy.
Yeah. Oh, and when Bill Maher introduced her, he said, here's my frenemy, Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter comes on, and she was just really kind of honest. She goes, hey, I got duped. I guess I'm just a stupid girl. I mean, she said these things. I'm like, really? I couldn't believe what I was seeing because I would never expect it. If anything, I thought maybe she should keep her mouth shut and not say anything. But she really pissed off at this guy.
I don't know. As soon as he declares a state of emergency,
she'll be fine.
She'll back on the tow train, and she'll be the conductor.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. The fact that she has that much influence over him.
Well, it's
bizarre.
It's scary.
It's very scary. Yeah, because it's like, dude, you're the leader of the free world.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to listen to somebody, listen to your daughter. What are you listening to Ann Coulter for?
Don't be listening to some stupid girl.
Yeah, she's a stupid girl, she said.
She said.
Right. So today he decided to jab back at Ann Coulter on Twitter. He said, I hear she's become very hostile. That's the quote. I hear she's become very hostile.
So what's the diss? Is the diss like, I'm not paying attention to you? Someone else has to, like, feed me that information?
Yeah.
Because you're beneath me? Is that what the idea is?
Listen, I guarantee you he read the tweet immediately.
Yeah.
He was probably stewing over it all weekend long.
And I hear she's hostile.
I hear she's hostile. Yes, fake Trump.
And the truth of the matter is the broad probably needs to eat a sandwich or something. You know, when you get very cranky when you haven't eaten in 2 weeks. She did. Seriously, I gave her she was a solid 7 at some point. Now she's down to a 5, maybe a 5.5.
Yeah, that's a hell of a drop. He was a big Ann Coulter support. They were friends. They hung out together at Mar-a-Lago. So, anyway, she's on with Bill Maher, and Bill Maher's like, well, now you're finding out he's a lying con man? What was your first clue? And then the crowd's laughing. And then she goes, okay, I'm a very stupid girl. Fine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I mean, look, you know what I think is going to happen. I think they're not going to strike a deal. He's going to declare a state of emergency, and then she'll be back on the train.
Without question.
Yeah. By the way, Newt Gingrich is jumping in there. He's supporting the Trumpster, his buddy. And so Coulter lashed out at him.
She's sort of
sticking on everybody. She goes, hey, at least I don't have to kiss Trump's ass.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, it says here, conservative commentator Ann Coulter lashed out at former House Speaker Newt Gingrich on Monday after he suggested that President Trump should ignore her criticism over border wall funding. Hey, say what you want about her. I mean, you know, She sells books. And that's what basically Gingrich was saying. Gingrich says, don't pay attention to Ann Coulter. Ann Coulter has never run for office. She doesn't know anything about how you put a majority together. She's off here in some fantasy land where she gets to be noisy, which helps her sell books. And then Coulter fired back, "Shut up, you fat bastard."
No, she didn't.
No,
she didn't say fat.
She fires back, "Newt Gingrich claims I'm in fantasy land for criticizing the president for breaking his central campaign promise. It has now come to my attention that Trump has built the full border wall, and it's working beautifully. That is why Trump is sailing to re-election." She's like that, just
right.
That nasty,
Sarcasm
comes through, yeah. And she goes, "Newt's right, I'm just selling books, but at least I don't have to kiss Trump's ass to do so."
Didn't she write a book called In Trump We Trust?
She did. And then
it's kind of kissing his ass to sell a book.
Yeah, a little bit, but certainly not the way Newt's been doing it. Newt's got like a carton of chapstick. All right, stay right here. We have a lot more coming up. I don't want you to move a muscle. Chad Benson's got the day off. This is Barsky Radio for Chad. Stay right where you are.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is not Chad Benson. I am Barsky, and this is Barsky Radio. Joining me, Ron Hersey, our producer, Garrett. So we got some late-breaking news, couple things. Actually, there were 5 cops shot in Houston. We're following that story. We don't know much about it, but I believe the shooter has been apprehended, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe he's down. He was reported down.
Okay, so that has happened. And then something just happened at the White House. John Bolton, I guess he was coming out of a meeting, going to a press conference or something, and then somebody caught a screenshot of the plans. He was walking with plans on his tablet.
No, it wasn't even a tablet. It was literally just
one of those yellow legal notepads.
I don't see him using a tablet. What am I thinking? So Bolton's got a legal notepad, and it said on it 5,000 troops to Colombia.
That's what it says.
Dealing with the Venezuela conflict. Okay,
apparently, yeah.
So who was able to catch that screenshot?
Well, I mean, it looks pretty obvious to me. It wasn't that hard. It was the only thing written on that page.
So apparently,
it almost looks photoshopped.
Wow.
Apparently, what was happening is he was listening to questions from reporters during the press briefing that happened today.
Right.
And he was holding it. It's not like he's holding it at his side. He's got it up in at his chest.
Oh, man.
And it's facing the wrong way.
Wow.
So everybody could see just as clearly as you could see his tie.
Wow. All right, well, say goodbye to John Bolton. I'm sure they're going to try to figure out a way to keep that from the Trumpster, from him seeing it. Wow. With all these, as secretive as everything is supposed to be, with all the leaks coming out of the White House, you would think you would at least, turn the pad over. You could still have it written on the pad, but have the cardboard facing, someone who could be looking at you, not the actual, yellow paper itself written that 5,000 troops to Colombia. Not that there's anything that's ground shaking, but that stuff should be private, right? Should be top secret.
Yeah, I think the problem is if that were something a little more serious, that could be a big problem.
Right,
if your guy is just sitting there willy-nilly with this information, showing it to reporters well before they're supposed to know about it.
Pretty funny. Let's listen. Just another twist and turn in season 2 of Celebrity President. I'm loving this season. How about you guys?
Yeah,
how about you?
Yeah, I can't wait for the finale.
All right, so the Sundance Film Festival happened over the weekend. I guess it's going all week. And there was rumor that a Harvey Weinstein sighting had happened at Sundance.
Like he was chilling there?
That's like seeing Sasquatch. Literally. According to some women that have been with him. Yeah. They're not sure if it's Harvey Weinstein or Bigfoot. It's one or the other. That takes some brass ones. Supposedly he was there having meetings, taking meetings about what? What could he possibly be taking meetings about? Who would possibly want to work with him?
Well, he's doing the Louis C.K. He's saying, who cares? I'm going to try and work as much as I can work.
That's crazy. Yeah, he's hoping that maybe there was an actress there who doesn't read the news, and he can whip some of that Harvey Weinstein mojo on her, coming up to my hotel room with my bathrobe open. That just takes a brass one to even just walk around. If you're someone who is the most powerful man in Hollywood, and then you've gone through what he's gone through, and then you just show up and see all that, like, you know what I mean? It's like, I guess he's at the point where he's like, yeah, I don't give a crap. What do I have to lose? I'm going to go. I may go to jail anyway. What do I have to lose?
I don't think he's going to go to jail. I think you're onto something with this. It was all consensual, so he's probably thinking, you know what? I'm going to skate on this stuff, so I may as well stay active and stay out there and see what's available, and maybe check out a few films while we're at it.
Right.
If you don't act like you're guilty, it just helps your case.
Exactly.
Right. Maybe that's the routine. Maybe that's that's the plan. Is just walk around. Hey, look, what are you guys shocked to see me here for? I didn't do anything wrong.
You've never seen a man in his bathrobe in public before?
Eating a shrimp cocktail with the bathrobe open? You've never seen that? How's that unusual? Come on in. Let's take a meeting. All right. So speaking of which, at the Sundance Film Festival, there's a film, and I had said that when the Michael Jackson stuff happened, with all the allegations of the molestation and all of that, I said that the film that people are going to want to see is the film about that. But nobody, really wanted to make it until he was dead. So he's no longer with us. So you've got a documentary filmmaker who did a film. It's called Leaving Neverland, and it features two of they're now men who are boys who claimed that they were sexually abused and molested by Michael Jackson.
Even though they've testified to the contrary.
They did testify to the contrary, I think because they felt like they were forced to, but both of them, their names, Wade Robson. Wade Robson was like a backup dancer for Britney Spears, and then James Safechuck. And both of these guys were between 7 and 10 when Michael Jackson took a liking to them and invited them to the Neverland Ranch with the permission of their parents. Any other man who would invite a 7 or 10-year-old boy to come stay at his house and sleep in his room would be in jail now.
Well, I don't know.
But because he was Michael Jackson, it's like, what would he do? Well, it's Michael Jackson, the king of pop. Take a look at him.
I don't know that he would
take a look at him.
Walk up to their parents and basically say, "Hey," or they're gonna sleep in my bed. I think the idea was,
I don't think he made
let him
that
come
point.
and learn from me. I mean, when I was in high school, my dad almost sent me away to some college football, or not a college football, but a football coach's house to work for a summer by myself. For all I know, it could have been the same thing.
Oh, I don't think so. This is not the same as football camp.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a camp. It was going to the guy's house and working on his ranch.
Yeah, well, they went to his house. They were working on something else. I don't believe Michael Jackson was teaching them the three-point stance.
I'm certainly not trying to defend Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm saying that the parents probably thought, this is a major artist.
Star,
this is a chance for our kids to go and learn something from him.
And let's not forget, both kids were dancers, so they were looking to make their make their big pile too.
I'm just saying, I can see from a parent's point of view, I could see where that doesn't ring the bells that you would think it rings now that we know what happened. Obviously those bells are ringing, but if you didn't know
there were
all
lots
that
of bells that were ringing at the Neverland Ranch. There were Michael's bells, nonstop, from the time he brought them in, the time that he was accused. Believe me, there were a lot of bells ringing. Here's the thing, though.
Man.
So this movie supposedly is 4 hours long, and there's an intermission after 2 hours. And apparently, the film company that's distributing this film brought in counselors to be in the lobby when people come out of the film because it's that disturbing. Apparently, the first half of the movie is so graphic, with these kids remembering everything that this gay pedophile did to him, this monster, that the critics, not just the audience members, critics come out And they knew going in it was going to be bad. They said they had no idea how bad it was, how disturbing it was. They said it was like a horror film. A complete horror film.
Jeez.
Speaking of which, let's go to the ghost of Michael Jackson quickly, because he's not here to defend himself.
That's right.
Hello there. Michael, are you following the story? I'm following the story. I'm saying it's all untruthful. They're lies. I didn't do anything. I was very, very nice. There's nothing wrong with a boy sleeping in the bed with a grown man. There's nothing wrong with that. You saw me on that interview on ABC many years ago. I did nothing wrong. I was just showing them how to dance. You all right? I'm fine. I'm just making my noises. These are my noises. I was teaching them how to be entertainers. And if anything happened, it wasn't me. It was LaToya, my sister. Did you ever see a picture of us together? Put a picture of me next to her side by side. If anybody did anything wrong, it's LaToya. Oh, I don't think that's not what they're saying. You have to understand something. How could I do those horrible things when I was in a heterosexual marriage with Lisa Marie Presley, Elvis's daughter? We had heterosexual love. Non-stop heterosexual love. Well, why do you have to say heterosexual love? Because that's what it is. Do you remember on the MTV Music Awards where I kissed her and they said it would never last? I do remember. Everybody was laughing at that one.
Yeah, and it didn't last.
It might not have lasted, but I had to practice that for a month. I mean, it was heterosexual love from the time we met to the time that we got divorced. Unfortunately, I had too much heterosexuality in me. She couldn't keep up with me. By the way, I don't even know where you are. It's the afterlife. You're in the afterlife. Where are you? I don't really know. Let's see here. I see two people over there playing chess. Could you go over there and just identify them? Maybe they're celebrities too? Hold on for a second. I'm walking closer here. Oh, it's Hitler and Bin Laden. I think I know where you are now.
Man.
Oh, I opened this door. It's very hot here. Very hot. I'm burning up. I gotta go. Shut up. Wow. All right. So anyway, for those of you, I don't know. They're saying that if you're going to watch this movie, make sure you know that the first half of it is really, really bad, and
make sure you know it's also 4 hours long.
4 hours.
Good Lord.
Jeez.
Yeah. That in itself is abusive. Seriously. All right. Coming back, we've got a lot more on the way. I want to get into Chris Christie's got a book that's coming out. It drops tomorrow. And so we'll talk about that. And also this hour, I want to get into some of the challengers, the 2020 challengers that the Dems are thinking about putting up. Kamala Harris is doing a town hall tonight, I guess 10 o'clock East EST. That'll be on CNN, I believe. But there's another person that's considering running. And so we'll get into all of that coming up. Stay right here. It's Barsky Radio for Chad Benson. Don't move.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
Chad's off today. This is Barsky Radio. Barsky with Ron Hersey and our producer Garrett sitting in for Chad. And I had mentioned before the break that Chris Christie is... And I knew that he was going to put a book out at some point. I just wasn't sure when it was going to happen. So he is... I guess the book comes out tomorrow. Former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, in his new book, Let Me Finish, Trump, the Kushners, Bannon, New Jersey, and the Power of In-Your-Face Politics. That's the title.
Wow.
That's a long title.
It's a long time.
That's as big as he is.
Yeah, it's like a giant buffet, table of words. He doesn't know how to do anything small, this guy.
Yeah, he had the same problem that he normally has when he goes to a buffet, is he couldn't decide on the right one, so he just decided to take it all.
Use them all, right? Sample a little bit of this, a little bit of that. He said that President Trump asked him several times if he wanted to be his vice president. This is according to an excerpt published. And, they release some of these excerpts before the actual book comes out. So I guess he said that Trump called him and said, "Are you ready?" And this is about a month after publicly admitting to having 5 or 6 people on the short list. But he kept calling Chris Christie, are you ready to do this? And he said, I just want you to know before I make my final decision, are you ready to do this? Because Chris, there'll be a lot of bull-s. There'll be a lot of stuff you have to put up with. There'll be a lot of scrutiny, and I just want to make sure that you and your wife, Mary Pat, are ready for that. Christie was all in. He was ready to go. And what had happened was, obviously you may not know the history, but Chris Christie, when he was the prosecutor in New Jersey, the attorney general, he put Jared Kushner's dad in jail. He went after dad. So what do you think is going to happen in that situation? You know what I mean? I don't think. I don't think Trump cared what Jared Kushner said about it, but I think he cared about what his little girl said. It's like little girl's like, Daddy, Jared's upset about Chris Christie, and probably went in and snuggled with him and did what she does, Daddy. Then he was like, all right. I think he really wanted him, but I think Ivanka and Jared said no go. So you have to understand, Chris Christie's got to be a little angry about this because he was, they dangled
that carrot.
Well, they dangled a hoagie, not a carrot, a hoagie in front of a meatball hero, right in front of his face,
a chicken parm.
Yeah, chicken parm sandwich, and they kept snatching it away, and he was,
well, of course he's angry. He wrote a whole book about it.
Yeah, but not just that, but he wrote about that, and also wrote about all the unsavory characters that Trump surrounds himself with. He said in the book, they're all amateurs, grifters, weaklings, convicted and unconvicted felons.
Wow. Who
are hustled into the jobs they were never suited for. Boy, that sounds like somebody we know. Sometimes seemingly without so much as a background check via Google or Wikipedia. He added in his book. It's out tomorrow. And he was also axed from the transition team. So, he got kicked around a little bit. I can understand him being a little PO'd.
Vengeful.
Yeah, but apparently, though, he's still kind of on the good side of Trump, but not after this book comes out. He's not going to be on the good side of Trump.
I was going to say, if that's what being on Trump's side sounds like.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, I guess he was getting along until this. I think he doesn't care anymore. He knows he has no shot in getting into the White House. Well, let me go to fake Trump on the fake phone. Yes, fake Trump.
Oh, poor Chris Krispy Kreme, as I love to call him. Poor Chris Krispy Kreme, just cranky because he's hungry all the time, because he's got a stomach the size of a grape. They reduce that stomach. He can't eat like he used to, and he's still, 400 pounds, to complete a total loser. You should undo that lap band, Krispy Kreme, and go eat yourself into oblivion at a Chinese buffet. Leave me out of your nonsense.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he's a
little harsh.
Yeah, he's a little angry about this. I'd be too. I mean, this was his buddy. This is the guy who's going to make him the vice president. So anyway, Trump says to Chris Christie when he goes on, I guess he goes on this tirade, and it talks about this one and that one, and then he says to Chris Christie, listen, I would like to make you vice president, but I got to go with Mike Pence. And Chris says, well, why do you have to do that? No one really knows him. And then his answer is this. You got to understand this, Chris. He's straight out of Central Casting.
What?
That's why he chose Mike Pence. He says he's straight out of Central Casting.
What an answer.
Yeah, well, but that makes sense.
Sure it does.
We're in the second season of Celebrity President. That's how you get your actors. So that's how he lost out. He goes, and that's how Mike Pence got the VP job. Right out of Central Casting. That's exactly what he needed.
Wow.
All right, lots coming up. Stay right where you are. We're going to talk about the 2020 candidates on the way in the Dems section of this whole situation. Don't move. Barsky for Chad Benson.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Hey, my friend, how you doing? Chad isn't here. We're sitting in for Chad. We're Barsky Radio. He's got the day off. I'm Barsky, along with Ron Hersey, our producer Garrett. And so over the weekend, we had Kamala Harris, I guess yesterday, decided she would kick off her 2020 Democratic presidential campaign. We knew that was happening by proclaiming a progressive and populist agenda that includes Medicare for all, economic equality, and a tax cut for working and middle-class Americans. So tonight, she's going to be on CNN at 10 o'clock Eastern time to do kind of a town hall. So you get a chance to see what she's all about. She is somebody who has been in the game for a while. She's a senator. She was a former district attorney in San Francisco, attorney general in California. And she announced her campaign that she was going to do it on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but she made the official kickoff yesterday. So, look, I think she's one of those candidates that is somebody that a Democratic voter will consider. I don't know if she's the strongest candidate. I still think that good old drunk Uncle Joey is the one that everybody's saying he's the guy that can beat Trump, just because he's been there as a vice president. He's been around a long time, and a female president, something is going to happen. It will happen eventually. I just don't know when that's going to happen. But Kamala Harris obviously is a choice if you're somebody who votes that way. But, of course, Elizabeth Warren's in it, too. And she pretty much did the same thing a while back. But I just don't see these two being really viable candidates, do you? I mean, I just don't see it happening. I could see them on the ticket. I mean, I could see Biden putting Kamala Harris on the ticket, couldn't you? You get the female vote. Yeah. You may get the black vote. You get the youth vote. He's got to put somebody young there. I mean, he's got to go with somebody who is youthful. It's either got to be Biden and Beto O'Rourke.
Right. He can't go with another old gray-haired white guy. Yeah,
no. It's got to do. It's the same playbook when McCain brought Sarah Palin in. He's got to get
kind of a bad analogy.
Well, but I mean, that's what they were thinking. They're going to get some eye candy, right?
I got it.
Yeah. So, but at least Kamala Harris has got. She's got some background.
There's some steak with that sizzle.
Yes, yeah. I mean, Sarah Palin was, the mayor of a, it's like the governor of Alaska, but it's like being the mayor of a township in Pennsylvania. It's the same thing. So anyway, she is going to be speaking to America tonight on CNN. You can check that out. And actually, Trump is considering. He said and this is for him to say. This is interesting. He considers Biden to be the most dangerous potential opponent. He doesn't take Elizabeth Warren seriously. He doesn't take Bernie Sanders seriously. He's taking Biden seriously. But Bernie Sanders is yet to announce he's going to be running, but it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah. Apparently so is Hillary.
Really?
Well, that's the rumor. I saw this today, and I was like, oh, really? Seriously? Third time's a charm.
No, I don't know about that.
I'm just saying, but that's what she's thinking.
It's either third time's a charm or 3 strikes and you're out. One or the other.
Yeah, I think it's the latter. I think those days are over. Yeah, I mean, but Bernie Sanders.
Him too.
Yeah, exactly.
Pack it in, baby.
We got to talk about the problems we got with the top 1% of the. It's almost like my uncle eating with corned beef in his mouth. I wanted to hear that. Bernie Sanders, his time has come. It's over. I think it's time to make room for somebody who, could be like the new Obama. This could be this Kamala Harris. Could be this Beto O'Rourke. But
well, that's what they called Beto O'Rourke whenever he gave, Ted Cruz a run for his money. They called him Obama but white. I think was one of the headlines I saw.
Yeah, I guess. But Obama's half white. People seem to forget that. It's like the black and white cookie. The dominant, the chocolate is always going to get bitten into first. I don't know what that is, but maybe that's something that's in our own heads. But he's half. I always go for the chocolate first on the black and white. I never go.
I like to bite right down the middle.
No, well, maybe you're a little bit more inclusive than the rest. Does that make me racist? I like to bite into the brown part first. Stop. So yeah, people always talk about Barack Obama, black president. No, he was also a white president. He was black and he was white, but people don't remember that. Yeah, so Sanders is another one. He's going to be announcing fairly soon. And then you've got Hillary Clinton. I found out today that she's kicking around. You know what she's like? She's like that. She's like that Monty Python movie. Remember long ago that the soldier that they chopped his arms off.
Right.
Oh, that's from...
That's the meaning of life.
Meaning of Life, yeah.
No, it's not. That's from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Well, the Holy Grail.
That's the
right.
Black Knight.
Oh, Black Knight.
They cut an arm off, and then they cut another one, and then they cut the legs off.
It's just a flesh wound.
Right.
Come back here, I'll bite your bloody kneecaps
Right.
off.
That's her, but the political version. That's her.
Just doesn't quit.
She doesn't quit. I just don't think she's healthy enough to do it. And I just don't think she's... It's not like people are going to turn around and say, yeah, you know what, we wanted to give Trump a shot because we weren't crazy about you. We wanted some outsider, but he made a real mess, so I'll give you a second shot. I think that's what she's thinking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she did win the popular vote, so I'm sure that doesn't dissuade her in any way.
Right.
She's just thinking we need to reevaluate what states we attack.
Yeah. You need more to do than just that. You reevaluate how you come off to people.
Sure, I mean, I certainly agree with you. I'm just saying I think that's what she's thinking.
Yeah.
She did more to lose that election than any Russian ever did.
My God. Seriously. Putin had a better chance to win the election.
They didn't even need to bother.
Yeah. I just think maybe her husband's like, just, you got to get back out there. Don't give up. Because seriously, right now it's two of them together at that place upstate New York. You know, he wants her on the road.
I'm sure he doesn't want her sitting around.
Oh, he's probably the one spreading the rumors.
Yeah.
Get it started.
I heard she wants to come on back. Yeah, why don't you print that? Don't say it's for me, but she wants to get back in there. Hey, Hill, have you seen oh my God, the headlines.
People want you back.
People want you. They're clamoring for you. Really? They really do? Yeah, they're clamoring for you. Get out there. Don't give up.
He just wants one more cycle of loan to his home.
Yeah. Yeah, because, time's running out for him. He wants one more. He's thinking to himself, I got one more good year chasing skirt. I'm not going to screw it up. Get out there, honey. So, yeah, that's the other rumor. And then there are two other names that are popping up that I find to be interesting. One is Michael Bloomberg, former mayor of New York, Michael Bloomberg. Now, this is a real billionaire. This is a guy who's got some real money.
Are you trying to insinuate that our president's not a real billionaire?
No, he's got more money than anybody. Just ask him. No, Bloomberg has got some real money where he can spend it and he wouldn't even miss it. I mean, not Jeff Bezos' money, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's I don't know what he's worth, $16 billion or something like that. He's got a lot. Anyway, he basically blasted Trump over the weekend. He said he's an incompetent pretend CEO and likened his presidency to a horror movie in a pair of speeches. This happened on Friday night. So it sounds like he wants to get in. And it sounds like he's going to do, whatever he can to, ruffle his feathers. He knows what's the best way to get to the Trumpster? Go after him, right?
Sure.
So then Trumpster tweets to his, I don't know how many millions of followers on Twitter, and he starts ripping into Bloomberg. I mean, that's how it all starts. It's classic professional wrestling, old school DJ wars. That's what's going on now with this whole situation.
Make them talk about you and give you publicity.
What'd you estimate his net worth is?
I said $16 billion.
$16 billion?
Yeah.
Ron?
10.
10. Okay, you're both a little low.
Really?
$47.5 billion.
Good Lord.
Holy jeez.
He is worth a lot more than I thought.
Wow. Yeah.
By the way, that is still only a third of what Jeff Bezos is worth.
Yeah, well, it'll soon be close to Jeff Bezos after he gives his wife half of it. But, so Bloomberg is thinking of running. Now, here's the thing, though. Will he run as a Democrat or will he run as an independent? Because if he runs as an independent or this Howard Schultz, now you know about this guy. This guy used to run.
He's a talk show host, isn't he?
No. That would be Ed Schultz, who's dead.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dead like Schultz.
He's the
You've
Starbucks
seen one
dude.
Schultz, you've seen another.
Yeah.
He's a Starbucks guy.
Yeah, this guy used to run Starbucks. He doesn't run it anymore. He considers himself a centrist independent.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, it means like he's an independent and he's right in the center. He's right in the center. He is right down the middle. And he claims we're living in the most fragile time and says he's dissatisfied with the state and tone of politics in the United States. He isn't worried about hurting Democrats in their bid to retake the White House, adding, I want to see the American people win. I want to see America win. I got news for you, my man. If you run as an independent, there's no way in hell the Democrats are going to win.
And you
it's
won't
never
either.
happening. Yeah, and you won't either. Yeah. And not that it bothers us because, as you know, we want Trump to stay in there for the next 30 years if possible. Or as long as my career lasts.
Whatever
as long
makes
as my
the job
career
easier.
lasts. Yeah. Like when I retire, then, whoever can take over.
Right.
But when as long as I'm on the radio and I got this to do on a daily basis. I don't want him going anywhere. And we pray to baby Jesus. Dear baby Jesus, please whisper in Howard Schultz's ear when he's sleeping tonight. Don't run for president. You'll screw it up for everybody. And certainly screw it up for us. Tell him to take over another company. A company with crappy coffee. Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you, baby Jesus. Just a quick little prayer. Yeah, I mean, if he decides to do it, when was the last time you saw that happen? I mean, Ross Perot ran as an independent. Remember what happened there?
H. Ross Perot?
Yeah.
Stay with me now. This is brilliant.
Right. Whenever there's an independent that runs, then the incumbent's going to win. It never
Bernie
works.
Sanders threatened to do that last time.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to him and told him, you want to make sure that Trump wins?
He got on the Democratic marching order real quick.
Yeah.
After he lost that. He came out real fast in support of Hillary.
All right, so listen, it says Howard Schultz. So I guess it got back to the Trumpster, my man. And here's what Trump said. And this is just classic old school reverse psychology.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Howard Schultz is smart in this, but he says, Howard Schultz doesn't have the guts for a White House bid.
Oof.
He says he doesn't have the guts, which basically what he's saying is, you don't have what it takes to take me on. You are, well, fake Trump. You want to jump in there and just expand on that a little bit?
Not only does he not have the guts, but he's the wimpiest of whips. Complete and total wimp. In fact, should put some high heels on him. He should run as a woman because he's that wimpy.
Wow.
If you're out there, Howard Schultz, come on, come take me on, you little wimp. You don't have the guts. You're a crybaby. Pooping in your diaper. Good luck to you.
It's the old reverse psychology. You don't have the guy. So he wants him to run.
Of course. He knows that would guarantee a second term for him.
Yeah.
Shut up. Keep your mouths quiet. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah. So that's kind of what's going on with the possible contenders for 2020. All right. When we come back, Nancy Pelosi chimes in on the Roger Stone bus and asks a very interesting question. And then Kim Jong-un. We haven't heard from that guy in a while.
Rocket Man.
Rocket Man's got a clothing collection. I'm not kidding. I guess he's in the clothing line now in North Korea.
He's taking a page from the Roger Stone book.
I guess. Who knows? Anyway, we'll get to all of that coming up. Stay right here. This is Barsky Radio on the Chad Benson Show.
Feel free to punk this punk rocker any time of the day or night. Reach Chad on Twitter at Chad Benson Show and on Instagram at Chad Benson Show. And oh yeah, the Chad Benson Show on Facebook too. Punk that.
Hey, what's up? Chad's got the day off. We're Barsky Radio, hanging out with you. Barsky, Ron Hersey, and our producer Garrett. Hope you're doing well. Had a good weekend and all that. So Meghan McCain... She's on The View, by the way, John McCain's daughter. She had like a radio show for a while, and it didn't do well. They just gave her this national radio show because she was Meghan McCain. Mm-hmm. I think it lasted for like a year or something like that. She realized it wasn't that easy to do. So she went to television. She does well on TV. I think she's good on The View. She provides the opposite viewpoint, to Whoopi and Joy Behar and the rest of the yentas over there. And so she admitted yesterday on some show that she was wrong about Nancy Pelosi. She said she misjudged House Speaker Nancy Pelosi ahead of the government shutdown and then praised her as a political force to be reckoned with. That's interesting for Meghan McCain, who is a conservative, to praise Nancy Pelosi. But I think the reason why she did that is because she hates Trump.
Well, is it because of her father's relationship with him?
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. She can't stand Trump. She said, I was one of those people that was saying that Nancy Pelosi was not the right speaker going forward, that they needed leadership change. She was on This Week with George Stephanopoulos. She goes, I'm here to say I was wrong. I completely underestimated how powerful and how strong she is. I think everybody underestimated that one, but she didn't blink. So... yeah, she got the Meghan McCain endorsement, which I'm sure she was very thrilled over. By the way, Pelosi on Friday night said the arrest of Trump ally Roger Stone showed that there was a deliberate and coordinated attempt by Trump officials to subvert the 2016 election. When she got the Speaker of the House gig, they were asking her, well, is there going to be impeachment proceedings? She goes, no, you're jumping the gun. Wait. She didn't want to jump into that conversation. Wanted to wait for the Mueller investigation report to come out. But now when she's saying this, you know what's coming next, right? They're just waiting for this report. So here's what she said. She said, in the face of 37 indictments, the president's continued actions to undermine the special counsel's investigation raise the questions, quote, what does Putin have on the president politically, personally, or financially? Okay, so let's cross off politically. Nobody really cares about that because Trump didn't care about that. Financially, Trump was going to give him a $50 million penthouse in Trump Tower in Russia. Personally, I think that's what people are looking at because it seems to me that, the dossier, the Steele dossier, and all of the rumors about the P-tape. Yeah, right, exactly. All of that out there, that supposedly that's what it is. So she's throwing that out there.
Wow.
And, yeah, I mean, that's interesting for her to actually say that because it means that she got some information. There's a possibility she knows of something that could be damaging to him, whatever it is. But clearly, this is a woman who has a mission, and I think it's to try to kick this guy out. A quick little prayer here. Baby Jesus, it's Barsky again. I asked you to whisper in Howard Schultz's ear not to run. Could you whisper in Nancy Pelosi's ear?
No,
just lay off for a while. Just lay off him for a while. Just in the middle of the night, just say that if she's good, that she'll be arriving in heaven and get a VIP place. A nice condo.
A nice penthouse suite.
Thank you, Rod.
Like a $50 million penthouse.
No, you don't want to use that number. That's not a good number.
Maybe in Russia.
Amen. Thank you, baby Jesus. All right, yeah, that's the last one. That's the last thing we need. But apparently that's probably on the docket somewhere, and that's going to be worked on. Okay, so I mentioned Kim Jong-un unveiling a new clothing line. Apparently, this is for his subjects. It's the perfect clothing line for people engaged in sailing, exploration, and mountain climbing. But here's the thing. Some of the clothes, most of them, edible.
What?
This is your little Kim Jong-un. You're not happy with poverty I create for you. Here in communist North Korea, well, now I got good news for you. No need to complain no more, because now I'm proud to introduce to you the new clothing line, the Kim Wear It and Eat It Yum Yum collection. Let's say you barely make enough money for food or clothes. Don't worry. This fashionable jacket costs what you make in a week. But here's the good news. You get hungry, you can eat a sleeve for lunch, a sleeve for dinner, and you won't put on any pounds. Don't delay. Call today to order your Kim Jong-un Yum Yum collection. Yum, yum. Yeah, I can't wait. All right, thank you so much. And thank you, Kim Jong-un. Don't stay anywhere but right here. Barsky for Chad Benson coming up.
Chad Benson Show. Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
Oh, hi. Welcome back to the Chad Benson Show. This isn't Chad Benson. This is Barsky Radio, and we are here hanging out with you. I hope you're doing well and all is good. You had a great weekend and all that good stuff. A lot of craziness over the past, I guess the last week was just a bad week for the president. Just a really, really bad week.
Started out bad and just got worse.
It just got worse. Yeah, and it's just been a bad month. The month of January has just been horrible. I'm sure he's excited about the month of February coming right around the corner, but seriously, it was just horrible. It was so, I mean, we were exhausted over the week. I had a rest from all the stuff that happened on Friday. And I was watching the bust of Roger Stone. I watched the documentary over the weekend, Go Get Me Roger Stone or Get Me Roger Stone. And I knew about him. I know people that know him. I know that he's been in the game a long time. He's considered to be the dark prince of dirty tricksters. And finally he got busted. And I was really shocked to find out that there was no criminal or there was no rap sheet. That the guy had never been arrested. He didn't have any sort of rap sheet whatsoever, considering all the stuff that he's done. Some of the, clearly not illegal, but really, really dirty. So our president responded to the arrest of Roger Stone by attacking the Mueller probe, and this happened on Friday, saying the drug dealers and human traffickers are treated better, suggested CNN got improperly tipped off about the FBI raid. So that's my question. How did CNN know? So, they're claiming that they were stalking. They kind of knew what was going to happen.
We put two and two together.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying.
I don't think so.
It was a pretty long, in-depth article about all the clues that let them out. I'm not saying that they didn't get maybe an inside tip, but I don't know. I could kind of foresee them having read the tea leaves, as it were.
No, but it's 6 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? They were right there. The camera. Wolf Blitzer had a set behind them. They were serving croissants and coffee, for crying out loud. I mean, they were all set up.
Oh, forgive me for believing in real journalism these days.
No, there's no set. With them? With CNN? Are you kidding? Real journalism? Yeah, that'd be nuts. Yeah, so somebody tipped him off. And, Roger Stone considered to be maybe a flight risk, something like that.
They didn't see that.
Supposedly they didn't tip off his lawyer or tip him off in any way because they thought either he would flee or that he would, and this is the bigger one, destroy evidence before they were able to seize it.
I think that's the bigger one right there because they went in there and they took out files. God knows what they got in their possession. I'm sure there's stuff in there that has nothing to do with the investigation or the quote-unquote collusion or alleged collusion, but there's stuff they're going to probably see. They'll be like, holy jeez.
I'd love to see the manifest on all the evidence acquired.
Yeah, because every guy, and I've said this a number of times, every guy's got a friend who can go into the apartment to clean it out.
You better have.
Yeah, in case you're in the hospital or something should happen.
To clear your browser history, dude.
Just clear everything out.
Temporary internet files.
I have to think Roger Stone had like a wing on his home of just all that crap.
I think he had a dungeon in his basement.
Oh, believe me, if anybody has a dungeon, it's him.
Listen, the West Wing, it's all made out of just dry wood. Just put it on fire. The rest of the house will survive.
Yeah, I have to think
light the whole thing up.
I have to think it's one of those things where there's no reason to even go and get the stuff. The deal is, here's the deal. If I'm ever incarcerated or whatever, the last thing, seriously, just right up in flames. Just light it up. But then again, I don't know. With most people, they would probably think that. Roger Stone, I don't think he cares.
He doesn't.
He doesn't care. He calls himself a trisexual.
He loves any publicity.
He says he's a trisexual. He's tried everything and anything with everybody. That's what he claims to be, a trisexual.
Oh, good Lord.
Not bisexual, trisexual.
That's fantastic.
He does
try
not
anything once.
Yeah, he does not care about any of this stuff. But I think he probably does care about going to jail. So anyway, the president took the opportunity to expand on that thought, and he said in one of his quotes, and we've heard this a million times, greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. And then in caps, no collusion. Okay, so when you're screaming about no collusion at any given opportunity, like this one, it just sounds like that protests too much, right?
The more you scream it, the more people are going to believe you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't think he gets that part. I think he thinks the more he screams it, the more you believe it.
Well, I think that probably is true for most of his base, but the problem is I don't think his base is the majority of America.
He goes on to say border coyotes, drug dealers, and human traffickers are treated better. Then he asked, who alerted CNN to be there?
That is a good question.
Maybe Roger Stone's wife.
Right?
No, I don't think that happened.
What you hear the story apparently was that the attorney got a call from one of the reporters that was on site.
Yeah.
And then after he hung up, because he didn't know anything about it, after he hung up with CNN, that's when Roger Stone's wife called him, like literally seconds later.
Yeah. You know who lives in the neighborhood, lives like right down the block from Stone? Retired NFL star Chad Ochocinco Johnson. Ochocinco, he was live tweeting during the whole thing because
of course
he probably thought they were after him.
Yeah, he was just like, it's kind of like that feeling when you see the cops' lights go on, you're thinking, oh crap, I got to pull over,
right.
And it's that you just breathe that sigh of relief when you realize he's going after somebody else. Yeah, this Ochocinco's thinking, oh my god,
right?
They finally found the stuff.
As soon as Stone comes out in handcuffs, he's like, woof,
woo,
all right,
right, yeah, and Stone in handcuffs is about as normal as me wearing pants. Let's just put it that way. Not, to being arrested, but like I said, it probably wasn't the first time all week he was in handcuffs. So anyway, he lives right down the block, so he was live tweeting, and here's what he said. He said it was like something out of a movie. He thought it was like a movie that was happening.
Like it was being filmed?
Yeah, well, because you see all these cop cars, and these
there's always
vans.
Helicopters.
Yeah, and you see the guys with the riot gear on. That's how
There's
they
FBI. Yeah.
Weapons drawn.
Yeah, that's how they did it. So yeah, he goes. It was like watching a movie. It was really kind of weird. All right, so a couple other things. The SAG Awards last night. And we're in award season, all the awards.
Don't worry, it's almost over. You only got like a month or two.
Golden Globes and this one and that one. The Oscars obviously finishes it off. But the SAG Awards, and by the way, I'm in that union. SAG-AFTRA, I'm in that union.
Are you really?
Yes. I mean, I haven't appeared in any major motion picture, but I was in AFTRA, which was for radio and television performers, and then they
bought out?
They merged. No, they merged with SAG. So I don't know what that means. Maybe I could be in a movie. I don't know.
Maybe you have a vote.
He's been in a couple of things, but it'll cost you a whole roll of quarters to see it.
Yeah. It's not, as they say, it wasn't in wide release.
A whole roll of quarters. Who pays for
I don't know.
movies nowadays on a roll of quarters, Ron?
Ron going back to Times Square 1973 with that reference. Well, what do you? Was I walking down the street and you saw Midnight Cowboy playing? I'll stop into the Peep Show. Anyway, so the SAG Awards last night, and good news. Garrett is a big fan of Black Panther.
Woo!
And Black Panther won Best Performance by a Cast, which is kind of like winning the Best
It's their
Picture.
version of the Best Picture. It's
Right.
their highest award.
That's a big deal. That's a real big deal. So, yeah, they won. And then, which was shocking, Christian Bale didn't win for Vice.
I think that was the first time that Rami Malek won over him in one of these award shows.
I think they just felt bad for the guy. The guy did a great job. They're like, he hasn't won anything, so they probably gave it to him.
Well, the thing about it is the SAG Awards are voted by a majority of the people who also vote on the Oscars.
Yeah.
And so there has only been in the 28, 29 year history of these awards, there's only been like 6 guys that won Best Actor in the SAG Awards and did not win the Oscar for Best Actor. So I think Rami Malek might win that.
No, could be. They also did another award. There was another award ceremony that they're really not reporting on, the AVN Awards.
I wonder why.
Yes, the AVN Awards, the Adult Video Awards. It happened out in Las Vegas. They usually have it, and they treat it just like the Oscars. I mean, they get all dressed up and they make the speeches. It's just kind of like
first time in their job is to get dressed up.
Right. They get dressed to the nines. The AVN Awards. And now the award for Best Male S&M Gag Ball Scene goes to Rod Harder. This is Rod Harder's second nomination this evening and the first win for the film Pulp Friction.
Pulp Friction.
First of all, I just want to thank God, of course, for giving me this great anatomy. And I also want to thank my trainer for helping me be able to be limber enough to withstand the dog collar scene. It was grueling. I think all of you remember that. Thank you. Thank you very much. And boy, oh boy, that Mercedes Fox, you certainly are a nasty taskmaster. Of course, I want to thank our director, Pat McCrouch, for his vision and courage in making the film. Thank you. Thank you so much, and good night. You know who else was there? Stormy Daniels was there with her attorney, Michael Avenatti. I thought they were on the outs.
So did I.
I thought that she was blaming him for the Trump.
She got hung with all those attorney fees.
Yeah, the legal fees.
And apparently he did things that, she had not advised him on. He was suing people that she didn't want him to sue.
Right. So, but they were back together again. And they were taking photos. I guess all is well. I mean, he hasn't exactly had a good last few months too with the domestic.
We've all
abuse
been
charges.
there, right? You invite a date to prom, it's your girlfriend, and then you break up a month before, but you still got the touch. You gotta go.
Yeah, you gotta go. Who hasn't? You already spent money on it, right? Why don't we play the Stormy song on the way out, and we'll do that. And coming up on the other side, we got a lot of good stuff for you. But in the meantime, we got a song about Stormy Daniels. You were a porn star, baby, and he asked you your name. You said it was Stormy that day. All of a sudden you're in his hotel room for rich guy sex and a little foreplay. Was he a good lad? Oh, so say. You said to keep your mouth shut about the affair if they paid you a whole lot of dough. Your 15 minutes of fame is slowly ticking away, and soon it will be time to go back to being a hoe. Oh, stormy, oh, stormy, you've got a lot to say.
Hello, room service. This is David Dennison. I need a couple cheeseburgers up to my room ASAP, and also bring some Tic Tacs, because I just had some terrific sex with a porn star, and after I eat, I'm going for round 2. And burger breath will kill the mood, believe me. That I can tell you.
Oh, stormy, oh, stormy, you've got a lot to say. Show us some DNA. Yeah, I'm getting on Ron about the Times Square reference from 1972. And here's a song from 1968. It's the only stormy song we knew of. Barsky for Chad Benson. Stay right here. Don't move. A lot more coming up.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
I am not Chad Benson. I am Barsky, and this is Barsky Radio. Welcome to it. Ron Hersey's with us, along with our producer, Garrett. YouTube is cracking down on conspiracy videos. There's a whole bunch of them on there. They're going to have to go through thousands and thousands of them, right?
I'm not going to lie. Some of my favorite YouTube clips of the past 10 years come from conspiracy videos.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, but then people believe in it, and they end up being like an Alex Jones follower, and it's crazy.
Nothing like a good lizard man video to
right.
Make the weekend swing by.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
Yeah, exactly. Following complaints over a number of unwelcome videos appearing in recommendations, the Google-owned site says it plans to try to banish them. It says borderline videos that come close to violating community guidelines are those which misinform users in a harmful way will now be excluded.
Oh, good luck with that.
Yeah. I mean, that's based on whose opinion?
Yeah.
They said we'll be reducing recommendations of borderline content. That's like censoring, when offensive material. Who was it, the famous person that said, I don't know what's offensive? Maybe it's the FCC. I don't know what's offensive. I can't tell you what's offensive, but I know when I hear it. That's all based on, it's subjective, right? Mm-hmm. And unless you can prove for a fact that these conspiracy theories are not real, then who knows if maybe they are real. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fan of them.
But it's their website. They can do with it whatever they want.
True.
Yeah, YouTube has no reason to keep any of this stuff on, especially when it's getting them bad press from people who wholeheartedly think that these are whack job theories.
Right. Let me go to fake Alex Jones on the fake phone. Yes, fake Alex Jones.
Maybe now it's time for me to actually be posted back on YouTube. Because I had a lot of videos here that they took off. It's craziness. They're YouTube owned by George Soros. We all know that. George Soros of the New World Order. George Soros is the one that's responsible for contaminating the water supply, which has resulted in the overpopulation of what? Gay frogs. Gay frogs. And how can you tell if the frogs are gay, you ask? Well, instead of walking, they sashay. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's true. So, so if you've got that conspiracy theory up there, if you're just somebody who wants to get a little heat on it, it may be coming down soon. So you have to find another website. I don't know what you're going to find. By the way, speaking of social media, a former classmate of Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has made a bold claim that the social media giant hosts 1 billion fake accounts on its platform, or 50% of its total users worldwide that it's fake. Aaron Greenspan's this guy, received a settlement from Facebook after claiming he helped create the site. He's one of those guys, like he wanted a piece of it. And it just sounds like he didn't get enough money, so it's sour grapes, obviously. Not that I'm saying that Mark Zuckerberg would do that, considering all the data breaches we know of. So that's the latest there. I'm kind of done with Facebook, unless I really don't want to see your meatloaf from last night, to be quite honest with you. All right, on the way, there's a new book out tomorrow. It drops tomorrow on Life at Mar-a-Lago with Trump and the family. We'll tell you about that coming up. Barsky for Chad Benson. Don't move.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent in thoughts and punk rock in life. It's the Chad Benson Show.
It is not Chad Benson. He's got the day off. It is Barsky Radio. I am Barsky, along with Ron Hersey. Our producer is Garrett. And you, of course, welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well. So after last week, the president's bad week, and with the government shutdown being just something that just didn't work out the way he wanted it to, it had to end the shutdown, then Roger Stone getting arrested. This is bad. So there was a lot of collateral damage that came off of that, and a lot of the Trumpster supporters, they were not happy about the way everything was handled. Anything that that looks bad for their guy, they get very upset. Now I say that because I don't consider myself to be a conservative or a liberal or a Democrat or a Republican. I'm neither. I don't like to be labeled. I'm basically an objective observer. And I just like to observe, and then I'll base my opinions on the item at hand, the issue at hand. I don't prescribe to any sort of affiliation with anybody. So I'm able to be kind of right down the middle. I mean, I guess you could say I'm independent, but I'm just an independent thinker. So having said that, we've said a million times on the air, and we joke about it, but the truth of the matter is, as long as Trump stays in, we're good to go. He has provided some seriously funny moments and some great content for this show and for talk radio in general.
He does not disappoint.
He does not, and there's never a dull week. I have to think maybe this week may be a little dull, considering last week was just even he's exhausted, which is hard to say. But a lot of the hardcore, I would say supporters, but in a lot of cases lemmings. The people that can't see the other side, they refuse to see that anything he does is considered to be fantastic, even if it isn't. And I've said a million times about our president, when he does something great, I'll praise him. I'll be the first to praise him. Like when he got the whole thing together with Kim Jong-un, and they were trying to, get that ball rolling, which is kind of on the back burner now. I thought it was great. Finally one president is willing to sit down and break bread. Or have dog, whatever it is, with Kim Jong-un. You know what I'm saying? But I thought it was great. And then, of course, when he does what he does, and he's, F's up, or he misspeaks, or whatever, I have fun with it. That's kind of what we do. But there's some people that take it very, very seriously. So I'm setting it up because on Twitter, and it usually happens on Twitter, I guess Patton Oswalt, who is a very funny comic. I don't know if you've ever seen his stand-up, but it's really, really good. Patton Oswalt is very active on Twitter, and he used a flare-up over Trump's border wall to light a fire under an ailing veterans medical fundraiser. Listen how this thing happened. So there's a guy by the name of Michael Beatty. He's a conservative Vietnam vet from Alabama. He got into like a Twitter war with Patton Oswalt. And I guess Patton Oswalt posted a poem making fun of Trump's tweet about the wall. So this guy comes back, and he goes after Patton Oswalt, and he says, I just realized why I was so happy you died in Blade Trinity. I guess he was in that movie or whatever.
Yeah, he was.
And then minutes later, he posted a follow-up jab reading, are you shoot, or do you shoot basketball like the sawed-off little man you are?
Ooh.
The way it was printed here. It says, "Are you?" I'm sure it says, "Do you shoot basketball like the sawed-off little man that you are?" I mean, Patton Oswalt's like 5'4".
Going after his game.
Yeah, well, he's going after his height. So known for his willingness to engage with Twitter trolls, it says here, Oswald humorously retorted that he understood Beatty's concern he might fall deeply in love with the actor if he saw one more second of him on screen. He said, "Clearly you're in love with me, or you wouldn't be going after me like this." So they went back and forth, back and forth. And then he says, just as the dude attacked me on Twitter, I joked back. Then I looked at his timeline, and he's got a lot of health problems. He says, if I had that many health problems, I'd be pissed off too. He says he's been dealt some real S cards, and let's deal him some good ones. Click and donate just like I'm about to. So this is what Patton Oswalt posted.
Wow.
He said, click and donate to this guy, and let's see if we can raise some money for him because he's got some problems.
Wow.
There aren't many people that would do that.
No, not.
Right? So over the next few hours, Beatty's GoFundMe page for medical costs related to his recent hospitalization for sepsis and diabetic problems skyrocketed, jumping from a few $100s to more than $34,000 as of midday Friday.
How cool is that?
You need to get into a Twitter war, Ron, with Patton Oswalt.
You've been picking on the wrong people.
Yeah, all your problems are solved.
Right.
So then he says, I want to thank everyone who came to my aid with generous outpourings, and also to Patton Oswalt, without whom I would not be the recipient of so much love and support. I'm not a man who ever cries, but I had to wait to send this, he said.
Wow.
And then Oswald tweets, see, this is why compassion and forgiveness are the best. Oswald himself donating $2,000 to the charity. You cheap bastard. Don't you make more than that? Beatty also said he was humbled by the generosity. He says, you've caused me to take pause and reflect on how harmful words from my mouth could result in such an outpouring. When we politicians start sneering each other, we can think we know it could be different, but many times it isn't. So anyway, he said he would catch Oswald the next time he appears doing stand-up in Alabama. But that's just a good example. Like, you could go one way and go really after somebody, and you go the other way, and, they kill him with kindness kind of a thing. That's pretty cool. Patton Oswalt, one of the funniest bits he ever did in stand-up was he did an impression of Nick Nolte. Now, Nick Nolte, you don't see him in movies anymore, and this is like old Patton Oswalt stand-up, but I said, every Nick Nolte movie is the same. He says it's the same line in every Nick Nolte movie where he's just had it. He's had it. And it's always like this. Hell. It's always that bit. Do you remember Nick Nolte?
Sure.
Like with Eddie Murphy with
Beverly Hills Cop.
Hell, Raj. Hell. He says, can you imagine Nick Nolte in the new Star Wars? Hell, Chewbacca. Hell.
That is so funny because Nick Nolte just got cast in a Star Wars show.
No.
Hell.
Hell, Chewbacca.
He's
going to do that. He'll do it.
Disney's doing their new streaming service to compete with Netflix.
Yeah.
And the first Disney show, one of the first ones they're doing is The Mandalorian, which is a Star Wars show.
Yeah.
And Nick Nolte got cast in it.
Hell, what do I got to do this film for? Yeah, so I credit Patton. That's not my bit.
Patton Oswalt got his job.
Well, maybe Patton Oswalt could do the looping for Nick Nolte. If Nick Nolte screws up, just goes, hell, jeez. He just doesn't. He says doesn't want to deal with it anymore.
Patton can do the rewrites.
Yeah. All right. I play this music because this is the kind of music I believe I would hear if I spent some time at Mar-a-Lago. Right?
Okay.
If it were a party, I would think so.
Yeah, it's very old school. It's very South Florida.
Very bar mitzvah-ish.
Yeah, and it just sounds like something that Trump would like to have played at Mar-a-Lago on a loop.
It's got just a little enough formal flair. Works for parties.
It's classic.
Cocktail.
So there's a book that drops tomorrow. It's by author Lawrence Lerner, and it's called Mar-a-Lago, Inside the Gates of Hell. No, it's actually Mar-a-Lago, Inside the Gates of Power at Donald Trump's Presidential Palace. That's another mouthful. What's with these long titles?
I don't know.
Christie's got a long title in this one, too.
Well, Christie charges by the word.
Yeah. All right, so it goes on to say that, back in '82, this is when Donald Trump was driving around South Florida, because a lot of people were like, how did a guy from New York, the king of New York real estate, get to South Florida? Well, like many of us, if you live in South Florida, you drive around, you go, hey, I like this area, I like the weather. And, of course, if you have $1 billion, it helps to be able to say, I'll buy that house. So that's what he did. He drove around with his first wife, Ivana, looking for real estate. An agent showed him a fabulous mansion with the interior that felt like the look of Louis XVI. He says, that's my favorite style. I could definitely see that being his favorite style. Boy, that's got to piss off Ivana. She's the one that picked out the house. She was like the first one in, and she's gone. She's going to get to enjoy it. So, according to this, I guess he was obsessed with Princess Diana. Because Princess Diana used to come to Palm Beach.
Trump was?
Yeah. And so he felt like if he can get like this golden palace, he may be able to
get her to like come by
to make a what do you call it, fake Trump?
I call it furniture shopping. I tried to move on Nancy O'Dell, and of course that Access Hollywood bus thing just completely ruined him. That's when I was talking to Billy Bush, but it's called furniture shopping. That's what I call it.
Yeah, where you make you move on somebody, you try to steal them away from the husband or whatever. So he ends up buying this real estate, and sure enough, as soon as he buys Mar-a-Lago, it was almost like everybody who was anybody wanted to come visit Mar-a-Lago. Movie stars, musical artists, Patriots football coach Bill Belichick, Whitney Houston, Mary Tyler Moore, Paul Anka, Frankie Avalon, Regis Philbin, Sean Puffy Combs, boxing promoter Don King. All of them came to visit and stayed at Mar-a-Lago.
Frankie Avalon.
Yeah, well,
my God.
It's Trump. I mean, come on.
Where's Scott Baio?
Yeah, from his childhood probably. I don't know. And so his quote was this. He would say, I'm the king of Palm Beach. They come over, they all eat, they all love me, they all kiss my ass. And they all leave and say, isn't he horrible, but I'm the king. So basically he just wanted like his own kingdom. And that's what Mar-a-Lago is. So anyway, here's a story that I thought was actually kind of funny in the book. So he had, these dinners, and he had A-listers at this dinner. Celine Dion and her husband were there. And after the meal, Celine asked the French chef Bernard Goupy to come out and take a bow, because I guess the meal was fantastic. So one of his signature dishes was a unique Caesar salad that was built in an edible cheese bowl. Sounds pretty good, actually.
It's built in a bowl?
In a cheese bowl. So basically you put the Caesar salad in and you can eat the cheese bowl. It's like a bowl made of cheese.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I guess she loved it. The husband loved it. And one day, months after Celine Dion's visit, Trump decided to dress down the chef, Bernard Goupy, and show him he wasn't making a real Caesar salad. This is the guy that puts ketchup on his steak. He likes his steak like shoe leather.
Ketchup on a well-done steak.
Well done. Are you kidding me? Well done is rare to him. Right, fake Trump?
If it doesn't taste like an old shoe, I'm not interested.
Right. So I guess so he dressed this guy down and he says to him, you and your effing Caesar salad. I'll show you how to make an effing Caesar. So then Trump tossed lettuce, croutons, and just mounds and mounds of dressing all together while swearing like a truck driver. This is in the book. He goes, now that's an effing Caesar when it's finished.
Is it like a soup by that point?
It's dressing with some lettuce in it. That's basically what it is. But then Trump was so angry about the way he made the Caesar. He goes, he had somebody fire Goupy the next day.
Wow.
Replacing him with a German chef. Oh, boy. But then Celine Dion quickly snapped up Goupy to be her chef at her place in Jupiter. So all's well that ends up for Goupy, which is a great name for a chef.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Also, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie paid a visit to Mar-a-Lago when Trump was there. And Trump said to him, he said, Chris, you got to lose weight. Fake Trump, what'd you say to him?
I said, sorry, Chris, we have a 250-pound limit here. You drop 100, we'll let you in.
This is exactly, what it was like. And you can read the book. The book is out tomorrow. Check it out in your favorite bookstore or on Amazon, I'm sure. All right, coming back, we got a lot more for you. William Shatner's illegitimate son has something to say about his dad. We'll talk about that and much, much more. Stay right here. It's Barsky Radio for Chad Benson on The Chad Benson Show.
Got that that sniffling, sneezing, stuffy head thing going on? Time for your daily dose of Vitamin Chad.
Well, you don't get Vitamin Chad now. You get Vitamin Barsky, Barsky Radio. That's us. Chad's got the day off. Barsky Radio, I'm Barsk, along with Ron Hersey and our producer Garrett. And we've got some TV monitors on. CNN was running that Democrats are just fuming. That ex-CEO of Starbucks, Howard Schultz, is may throw his hat into the ring as an independent, because any independent that goes in there, that's going to pretty much kill any Democrats.
Split the vote.
Possibility of winning. So they're just trying to talk this guy out of it. And he's getting ripped on Twitter. People are calling him a arrogant a-hole and stuff like that.
Not just Twitter. He got heckled.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he was at some speaking event today, and he got heckled. Somebody stood up and said, "Don't help elect Trump, you..."
Right.
What was the word?
Egotistical
millionaire a-hole.
Yeah. See, here's the thing, though. A lot of these guys think it's going to be a lot of fun to be on the campaign trail until they get into the gig.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, why would you even want that job? If you're Howard Schultz, a guy's worth, I don't know, $100, $200, $300 million, whatever it is, go enjoy your life. Why would anybody sign up for that unless their ego was so, crazy? You got to really be out of your mind in terms of your own narcissistic tendencies to want to do this job. And I have to think that anybody who has said that they ran for president, I believe I've heard other presidents say this, they had no idea what it was until they got in there.
Howard Schultz net worth, what do you think it is?
$300 million. $300 mil. What do you say, Ron?
$400 mil.
You guys are both way, way off.
Really?
$3.4 billion.
Oh, really?
As of this year.
Wow.
That's a lot of Frappuccino.
Yeah. Well, did he start the company?
Let's see. He was a CEO of Starbucks from 1986 to 2000.
Yeah, he started it. It was
again from 2008 to 2017.
Okay. All right. Well, that's why all the money, because he's
also current, or I think. No, he wasn't currently, but he just recently, as of last year, was the executive chairman.
All right. Yeah, well, then he started the whole thing. Or he was close. He was right there on the ground floor.
With that stock option.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Well, the Starbucks is, it's like McDonald's now.
That's Mark Cuban money.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, anyway, so the people are not happy about this. They don't want to see any independent that runs is going to, kill any chances that a Democrat has. And that's fine with us, man. Like I said, I don't want Trump to go in anywhere for another 10 years or so. Hang in there for as long as you possibly can.
3 words: president for life.
Right. Yeah, but of course there's only be like 6 years left for him. But maybe they'll change the rule. I don't know. Maybe they'll amend it. I don't know.
Maybe they'll change it.
Yeah. All right. So there's a story out of Florida, up in I believe in the Tampa area. It says here a 62-year-old Florida DJ, radio DJ, claims he's William Shatner's son, and he's trying to take the actor's name despite having the story dismissed by a judge and consistently denied by Shatner. So this guy's name is Peter Sloan. I guess he wants to be Peter Shatner, right?
Okay.
Or maybe he wants to be Peter Kirk
Maybe
after Captain Kirk.
William.
I mean, if you're William Shatner's kid, then maybe you just go with Billy Shatner. It's Billy Shatner Jr., something like that. Anyway, he sued Shatner in 2016 for $170 million, claiming the star refused to admit he's the father. Now, the story goes this. I guess in Clearwater, Florida, that's where this guy's from. And apparently, years ago, that's like 30 years ago when Shatner was doing TJ Hooker, this guy showed up and on the set. I guess they had been communicating by letter, and I guess Shatner invited him out there. And he showed up, and I think at that time, Shatner confirmed that, I might. They didn't take a DNA test, but I might be your dad, because this guy said that Shatner had like a one-night stand with his mother, and he kind of looks like him and all of that. So I think everything was, I guess he seemed like they were going to have a relationship, and then it just turned really, really bad. And, he went after him, he started suing him, and so now... look, I mean, like I said, it's not the worst thing that can happen to him because he's a DJ. All right. Okay, you're on the Chad Benson Show. This is Barsky Radio right here.
This is the Chad Benson Show.